This is a case study over the internet use violation and threats over the World Wide Web. And I'm Kara Hollingsworth, and I'll be walking you through it. Getting the facts. To start off, we need to know that this article is about a principal who is very successful in his district. He works in a well-off district with students who are constantly up to date in their technology, clothes, fashion, those kind of things. He's won an award for Principal of the Year and is doing very well with his hiring process. He always hires the best principals, or teachers, excuse me. And so we need to, there is a new teacher that has been hired, and she is older. She's extremely educated. She has her master's, her undergrad, and 1 year of. She is very rigorous the way she teaches. Also, she runs a very structured classroom and a very high-level classroom, working with valedictorians and people competing for that position, and that just creates a high-stress area. And there's been parents and students who have been struggling with this, and so this causes a stress not only between the teacher and the students, but between the parents and the principal and the principal and the teacher, as the principal has tried to give her suggestions, but she has yet to implement them. And so what happened was somebody made a website and sent it to her that was extremely hurtful and vulgar and essentially threatened her life by saying who wants her to disappear. And in her frenzy, she called the principal, and now it's the principal's job to solve this issue and work accordingly. So what the principal needs to know first off is that the teacher is safe and work toward their safety, how to keep her safe. They need to know any problem students in the classroom. Who are her first subjects? Who comes to mind first? Not to necessarily accuse someone, but as a stepping stone of where to go. They need to find the origin of the email. That means talking to the tech guy and starting from scratch, figuring out what computer, what program it was sent from. That's a great way to not accuse anyone and use the facts that this is where it came from, and we need to know why or who it was. We need to know the policies against death threats or any kind of threats, so we know when we do figure out who it was, we can punish them according to our district policies, our school policies, or even any legal steps we need to take. I feel like there are 3 different problems in this case study. Not only identifying the source of this email and punishing accordingly, but we need to talk to the teacher about the teacher frustration and their parent-student frustration, because I don't believe in lightening a course just because students say it's hard, but if I have felt over and over again that it needs to be adjusted and I have put suggestions to her and she is not following them, it needs to become a real sit-down conversation of if our views match and if our school's views match her teaching style. I like the competitiveness of her choices. However, if it's becoming a problem with students where they are deciding to make these kind of accusations or get out of hand, we need to have a talk to her. But we also need to support her and back her up with the parents and say, make sure our teacher knows we're on their side and we will protect her safety and figure out this problem. So the plan of action is to support the teacher's safety as the first and foremost. Having a safe teacher is our responsibility. We need to keep in contact her. We need to make her comfortable and let her know we're doing everything we can. And if we need to contact the police, if that is necessary, then we need to follow through with that. The next step is the big step, and it's identifying the source of the internet site. We need to interview students, interview the teacher, review any legal obligations we have, and first and foremost, talk with our tech guy. Knock that out. If we can find a step there that puts us to a direct link, that's the best way to do it. We also need to be prepared if we cannot find a source. So what happens if there's no way for us to figure out exactly with the proof of who it was? We need to be prepared for that step as we go along as well. So then it goes to enforcing our punishment. We need to look in our our policy book for any policies we have on threats or death threats and how our district handles them, as well as if we need to talk to police in making necessary reports and their punishments they feel necessary. And we need to make sure our punishments are strong but enforceable. We can't be just throwing out these crazy punishments that don't match the issue. However, we also need to make sure that it leaves a mark with the student and they know that this is unacceptable behavior. Now, if we don't find the source, there are also steps we need to take. Do we have a school assembly? Do we have individual meetings with students? Do we bring parents in so they know this is happening so they can monitor their students? These are all three options for us as an administrator to do to reach our students. And we could use those as well, even if we do find a person that um, is in charge of this whole scheme. So, as the building administrator, it's my job to make it very clear that we will support the safety of our teachers. That is important. Everyone under our roof, including children and teachers, are our responsibility and we will keep them safe. Threatening in this building, under any circumstance, teacher or student, will not be tolerated. If the internet cannot be handled correctly by students, it will not be accessible to students during the day. That's a pretty clean cut punishment, and it's something people use in elementary school, and we can use it in high school as well. We also need to have a conversation with the teacher and in just accordance with her classroom rigor. I don't believe she should change anything because of this incident. However, I do feel that a review of the standards, level of work, and amount of take home work might be beneficial to her and the students to make sure she's hitting everything she needs to, and maybe places she can either change or pull back a little bit. Maybe they don't have to go as in depth as, and discuss with parents what they need from her as well, making it more of a team effort. Um, I really try to work with integrity here by talking about the teacher's safety, understanding the parent concern, and fighting for that student success, which is making sure this teacher is following the standards and being reasonable. This is not has nothing to do with the attack made against the teacher. This is more part of the case where I've talked to this teacher about her rigor before and she has done nothing to it. So I want to make sure these students are getting the most of their education. And that can be solved greatly by having a conversation with her and discussing successful teaching strategies, not only to help the students learn, but to help her stress level go down as well. Um, we want to make sure we're giving everyone's side of the story, the teachers, all the students involved, anything like that. I don't want to accuse someone or put a name out immediately just because we have a student that the teacher doesn't get along with does not mean that that is the culprit in this process. However, he is a good place to start, and I think that's a good identifier for an issue in the classroom. We need to find the source. That is something that we need to do immediately if possible. And no matter how it goes, we need to punish equally. So if there was a party bigger than one, all of them need to be punished fairly. Professional code, that's looking at our school policies, district policies, any legal policies we have, and also remaining calm because people are going to be looking at me for as an administrator for guidance and how they're supposed to be feeling. So if I get worked up and angry, then everybody will get worked up and angry. But if I remain calm and poised, then people will feel that things are being handled and we are working towards a solution.